legalize. Marcus Conti reporting. Guess what? Wow, Trippy Dippy. Trippy Dippy. Trippy Dippy. So, Oakland. The city of Oakland becomes the second city to legalize magic mushrooms. Hallucinogenic mushrooms. That's just what we need. It's just what we need at this time in our history. Magic mushrooms, right? So let's talk about it. So, this is true story, right? Oakland has become the second city to legalize magic mushrooms. San Francisco, reporting from San Francisco, Oakland, Marcus Conti reporting. Oakland on Tuesday became the second city to decriminalize magic mushrooms after a string of speakers testified that psychedelics help them overcome depression, drug addiction, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The city council voted anonymously to decriminalize the adult use and possession of magic mushrooms and other ethogenic or psychoactive plants and fungi. Denver voters in May approved a similar measure, right? People over 21. So that's two down. The plant saved my life, said one. So interesting stuff, right? I mean, where do you stand? I mean, where do we stand on drug addiction? Hallucinogenic mushrooms could magically cure depression. So here's my take. We'll watch a couple of clips. What is LSD? What's going on here? What is acid? Why do people reach out? Acid, LSD, magic mushrooms, very, very similar. I know people are going to post, say, oh, no, the LSD has more of a medical feel about it, and the mushrooms are more organic. They occur organically and stimulate your brain in an organic way, whatever. But they all, I've done all of them, and in my view, since it's my video, I'm going to tell you my experience, which your experience down below. But essentially, it is a mind-altering thing that happens. And in my experience with acid is that it's a one-time phenomenon that everything, when you consume this acid, this substance, and you put this substance into your body, suddenly everything changes. Suddenly everything is far different, and you doubt your sense of reality. You challenge your sense of reality. You start to say, well, what is life? What is death? What is real? What is fake? What is color? What is non-color? What is sensation? What is breathing? What is it? You challenge, everything suddenly comes into question. And I think that that's a good thing, because I think I wrote a book about it. I'll tell you about it in a second. But let's look at some of the Hollywood pseudo experiences. This is a good clip. Watch this.
Sandy.
Alan.
I took all 3 hits, 15,000 micrograms. It's the answer, isn't it? It's the answer to every question. It's the route to God. It's the direct route to God. And that's where I am. You know, you've been there, right? I'm with God. It's amazing. I feel a complete clarity, of complete wisdom about me, a complete refinement of character and of mind and of body, of soul. I feel so beautiful. I feel so great. I feel like, I can't believe you never gave this to me before. It's fucking amazing. I walk down the street and I see everything planned out exactly the way it is. Blocks, pixels, perfect.
It's revelation. It's truth. It's wisdom. It's beauty. It's eternity. What's the longest you've ever known anybody to trip? Sandy?
Well, sometimes it never ends. Sometimes it never ends. Sometimes it never ends. Never ends. Sometimes it never ends. Alan, sometimes it never ends.
5,000.
Alan,
5,000 microphones. Want to open Saturated.
Alan, can you hear me?
Saturated.
Sometimes it never ends.
You're not taking that route. You're not taking that route. You've been there, right? You've been there, right?
First off,
I'm with God. I took that route, the direct route to God. It's eternity. You know that. You've been there, right? God. The answer, the truth. It's the answer.
Freaking out, man, freaking out. Oh, this one. So, it's the downside of everything, right? There's the upside, right? The clarity, the perfect truth revealed in all things. And then suddenly the flip side of everything is never, you can't hold on to it. See, that's the tragedy of drugs. If there is a tragedy, is that it's a temporary phenomenon, and then it fades. It's like the wave that rises up, and then it forms the perfect break, and then it fizzles to nothing. Right? It's the high and the low. The other side of the high is a low. That's what we just found out. Remember in the Doors movie? It's one of my favorite scenes. Favorite movie.
Here's one red eye and one green eye. That's all right. He gets better. He's
Trip.
7 miles long. Deadly. See, all of the history of the world is on its scales. All people, all actions. We're all just little pictures on scales. God, it's big. It's moving. Devouring consciousness. Digesting power. Monster of energy. It's a monster. We're gonna kiss the snake on the tongue. Kiss the serpent. But if it senses fear, it'll eat us instantly. But if we kiss it without fear, it'll take us through the garden, through the gate, to the other side. Ride the snake till the end of time. I think I'm fucked up, man. I'm not thinking right. Look at your eyes, man. Your death. I'm afraid of my father. I can't be what they want me to be. Maybe you should kill your father. I'm in pain, man. I feel the universe functioning perfectly, but I'm still perfectly locked inside myself. Instead of oneness, I feel isolation. But you're alive, Ray. Feel it. I'm scared, Jim. It's beautiful. I'm still scared. Then use us, John. Use your strength. Come on in. That's right. We're a tribe now. A tribe of warriors. Promise you. I'll be with you to the end of time. Nothing will destroy our circle. Ride the snake. Come on.
So you know what I'm saying, man? Is that what we want to? Is that what we're trying to achieve in our life? Is it escapism? We want to experience something more. So we're in this period of time. Oh, hey, listen, decriminalize is the way to go. There's no doubt about it. But is it something now that it's legal in Oakland? Does everybody flock to Oakland to experience this amazing substance? Is this really what we want? Is this really what we need in our lives to expand our doors of perception, as Jim Morrison said, the doors of perception? I don't know. I mean, I think again, one time perception. I think. Look, I wrote. I'll talk about me and what I do. And so I wrote a book right in 2012. Wake yourself up, spiritual enlightenment, right here, right now. Free book if you want to do it. Here's the. You could. It's always in the box down below. Wake yourself up. Right. I never promote, but it is something that I did in 2012, and I've experimented with all kinds of drugs in the 90s and late 80s. In terms of acid trip, probably the last time I tripped was in the late 80s. Late 80s, and then I think once accidentally on a trip to Amsterdam where I ate something that I shouldn't have eaten and tripped out. But my finding with drugs is that again, it's like walking into the high grass, and you can't find your way out. Right? You get stuck there. You get lost. You get lost. I was just lost for a second. I was hearing things, man, spooking me out. So I wrote this book, right, about inner travel. Right. I talk about myself. I used to be a professional psychic. I talk about my experiences with Buddhism, sitting on the cushion, commentary, and my experience with distance running and nutrition exploration. But here's a good quote. Man experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison, restricting us to our personal desires. Albert Einstein. So I wrote this book about, clocking maybe a few thousand hours of sitting on a cushion doing nothing and shutting down the thought process, not necessarily the thought process, but the thinking process. Thought is unstoppable, right? But thinking is something that we have a choice, right? In other words, if you have a thought, right, thought evolves from void. It evolves from inner something, right? And you sit and you see thought evolve, right? But you have a choice whether to lock onto that thought, right? And it's commonly, thought of as monkey mind, right? This word monkey mind, where you're constantly just trapped in one thought to the other, whether pleasurable or not pleasurable is not the point. It's just the thought, right? And we lock onto those thoughts, and those are, we see the manifestation of those, in my view, in rabbit holes, where people go down these rabbit holes, and the thought process is so powerful and so anesthetizing. It's like a drug, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that drug-induced rabbit hole, right? Like what is now happening, people are moving towards decriminalization of hallucinogenics. Is inferior to the real inner travel that one can experience, right? So I wrote this story. This talks about myself, and my experience in life, and who cares? A little poetry in there, and So and it's this book is based mostly on the teaching of the Buddha, because the Buddha, pretty much discovered this inner travel a long time ago. So this is a good chapter. If you go to chapter 4, you'll see inner space travel, and that's pretty much what I found, drugs to be. And I think that people experiencing LSD for the first time, where suddenly you're in this place where thinking stops for a moment. Your thinking stops because of the display of color and light and the exaggeration of sound, the exaggeration of color, the warping of color is so captivating, right? And there's nothing outside of you that's doing it, right? It's a manifestation. I mean, for many reasons, LSD, it blocks serotonin receptors and all that, but that's not the point, right? Is that these sorts of experiences can be experienced without the assistance of drugs, right? In fact, it's you can, what I'm trying to say and what I found is that, without getting too hippy dippy, is that you start to, you realize that the thing that you seek in drugs is something that you can learn and call up at any time. Call it meditation, call it insight, call it vipassana, call it whatever you want to call it, right? But you can have control over your thought. And when you find yourself running away, getting caught down that rabbit hole of thought, you can stop it by through use of meditation, where you can stop those thoughts, and suddenly they're not as troubling as you once thought they are. And that, that troubling train of thought is the essence of depression, is the essence of suicidal tendencies, is the essence of stress. Right? It's basically turn off the thinking pattern and just basically not give a shit, for lack of a better term. So Marcus Conte reporting on this this day of awakening. Right? People are going to be awakening in mass amounts. People are going to freak out. They're going to eat too many acid hits and start growing mushrooms and consuming mushrooms to understand the world. The world, because it's chemical, man. Dude, it's medical. It relieves me of my depression. Yeah, but remember, always with every substance, with every high, there's a equal but opposite low. So it's a good move, though. Marcus Conte reporting on the legalization of hallucinogenic mushrooms in Oakland, the city of Oakland. Wow, man. So what's it going to look like? We're going to have some mushroom parlors, right? Put those next to the pot parlors. I got them pot parlors, mushroom parlors. Get some heroin parlor, get some cocaine parlor, right? Is that what we need, man? Is that what we need? Is that what the country needs to anesthetize itself from the horrors of monopoly and oligarchy and government run wild? Marcus Conte reporting.